Gnome Blessings, everyone. Welcome back to Gnome Talk, where today we're diving into a question that has been on many minds lately. What exactly is the Church of Gnome? But before we dig in, I've got some big news and some major milestones that we need to celebrate. This week has been our biggest week ever of new members and new ministers. The Church of Gnome has officially expanded into 26 countries, and I could not be more honored and excited to welcome all of you new Gnomians into the ranks of the Gnome World Order, which is partially why I'm doing today's episode. We got so many new members. I need to keep making it more clear of what we're doing here. And so now, the biggest breaking news I have ever broke in our 1 year of history. After 1 year of battles, legal arguments, and more paperwork than I care to remember, I've officially won the right to wear a gnome hat in my driver's license photo. That's right, this is not a drill. My legal right to rock the iconic gnome hat in all of its majestic glory is now recognized, and I do look majestic in it. So in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing the whole story, and more importantly, how you can do it if you're feeling inspired to add some gnome flair to your legal documents. So stay tuned for that. Now, at its core, the Church of Gnome is a spiritual community that blends the serious with the absurd, reflecting the paradoxes of life itself. It's a sanctuary for personal growth, a celebration of human connection, and a call to live in harmony with nature and each other. Think of it like a spiritual garden party. We would be the ones wearing gnome hats and asking the big questions while sipping on herbal tea or butt chugging straight from the keg. Theologically, the church is built on what we call the Gnomean Principles, values like autonomy, gratitude, balance, and the pursuit of understanding. We challenge the idea that spirituality has to fit into traditional molds. You don't have to chant in Latin, wear robes unless you want to, like me right now, or sit in a pew to find meaning here. Our path is deeply meaningful, refreshingly approachable, and kinda weird. So what do we believe? The Church of Gnome is founded on the transformative power of curiosity, gratitude, and intentional living. We believe that every individual is on a unique spiritual journey and no single path holds all the answers. We're here together to get those answers from one another. Through the 12 Gnomean Principles, we encourage personal growth, harmony with nature, and the pursuit of inner peace. These principles aren't dogmas, they're more like guideposts, helping us navigate life with a sense of purpose and balance. Which brings us to the inevitable question, why gnomes? I mean, sure, they are adorable little garden guardians, but why center an entire spiritual community around them? This would take many episodes to fully get into, but a little overview is that gnomes are more than just garden figures. In their small stature and timeless presence, they hold a mirror to humanity's own contradictions. Humble, yet wise, playful, yet protective, grounded, yet mysterious. Gnomes are the guardians of thresholds, the places where worlds meet, whether it's the boundary between your garden and the wild, the known and the unknown, or the physical and the spiritual. Gnomes stand watch. They remind us that transitions are sacred and there is wisdom in liminal spaces, and that the most profound moments often occur at the edges of comfort. And we need to be honest, Their hats are iconic, impractical, yes, unforgettable, absolutely. Those hats symbolize individuality, self expression. They remind us to not take ourselves too seriously, to wear our quirks with pride, and to embrace the absurdities of life. Because after all, in those moments of joy and laughter, we often get glimpses into the divine. So, whether you're here for the gnomes, the philosophy, or just a community that appreciates both the wise and the weird, you are in the right place. So, now that we've established that the Church of Gnome is real and that I legally wore a gnome hat in my driver's license photo, let's address one of the most common questions that we ever get. Is it a joke? Gnomes? A church? Surely I must be kidding. But you know what? Life is a joke sometimes. The universe has quite the sense of humor, and if you've ever sharded on a date, sent a foot pic to the wrong person, or just ran into a sliding glass door, then you'll know what I mean. The Church of Gnome embraces that cosmic comedy. We take the lightheartedness of life and blend it with deep meaning, because let's be real, humor and wisdom often go hand in hand. Yes, we have gnome hats. Yes, we ordain pets. And yes, there is a very real chance that somewhere out there, there's a cat named Reverend Whiskers currently blessing a bowl of tuna. But that doesn't make what we're doing any less sincere. Humor and depth are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they coexist beautifully. The Church of Gnome exists in that sacred space where the profound and the ridiculous collide. It's a space where you can ponder life's biggest questions while still laughing at the absurdity of it all. And I get it. Some of you might still be wondering, how do I know that this isn't a cult or a parody religion? So let's break it down a little bit. First of all, cults, they thrive on control. They want your mind, your loyalty, and sometimes your wallet. Definitely not things I want at all. That's why on the top of our website it says not a cult. So you can trust that it is not a cult, I promise. So cults, they rely on fear, manipulation, and a charismatic leader who claims to have all the answers. I will not claim to have all the answers, just most of them. So listen to me, okay? So cults, that's not us. Not even close, trust me. But honestly, the Church of Gnome does prioritize personal autonomy basically above all else. One of our core tenets is the Gnomean principle of sovereignty of body and mind. This isn't just a fancy phrase. It means that you are the ultimate authority over your beliefs, your choices, and your personal journey. We don't tell you what to believe or how to live your life. We simply offer a set of principles to help guide you. If those resonate with you, awesome. If they don't, then I guess you're still welcome here. We've even gone so far as to write a formal doctrine of anti-cult prevention and awareness. Yes, I wrote an entire doctrine about how to not be a cult and how to look out for cult leaders. It's like a step-by-step guide on how to foster a healthy community free from manipulation and control. We promote critical thinking, open dialogue, and transparency. So if I ever start demanding that you sell all your belongings to move into a gnome commune in the woods, just remind me to not demand it and to ask nicely, because demanding it would be culty and weird, and that's not what we're doing here. So now that we've cleared some of that up, let's talk about how we accommodate different beliefs. And the answer is simple. We welcome, well, basically everyone. Whether you're Christian, pagan, Buddhist, atheist, Pastafarian, Dudist, or you really just like gnomes, there's a place for you here. The Church of Gnome is like a spiritual potluck. Everyone brings their own flavor to the table. Some of us believe in gods, some don't. Some of us meditate in forests, and others find their peace binge-watching sci-fi shows. The beauty of this community is that we celebrate our differences rather than trying to erase them. We try to learn from one another, to grab pieces of one another's beliefs to see what works best for ourselves. So we're not here to convert or replace your spiritual path if you're on one that you really like. We're here to offer a space where your existing beliefs can flourish alongside new ideas. You can be a devout member of another religion and still find a home here. There's no contradiction in expanding your spiritual horizons. And at the end of the day, the Church of Gnome is about connection to each other, to nature, and to the endless mysteries of life. We're a community built on curiosity and respect, and there's always room for more chairs at our garden party. So now that you know kind of what we're not, let's talk about what we are and how you can join this epic, growing community. Gnome blessings to ya. All right. So we have clearly established that the Church of Gnome isn't a cult, but you should still listen to me. And it's not entirely a joke. And that we welcome people across beliefs. Let's talk about how you can officially join this wild, wonderful garden we call the Church of Gnome. It's simple. There is no secret handshake or mysterious initiation ceremony, though I would like to make some pretty awesome initiation ceremonies, but they will be, like up to you if you do them. All you have to do, go to churchofgnome.org, hit the join us button, fill out the form, and welcome to the club. Gnome hats are optional, but highly encouraged, and membership is free. There's no dues, no hidden fees, no surprise charges for gnome-related activities. We believe that spirituality should be accessible to everyone, no matter your financial situation. But if you're feeling inspired to support the church and help us grow, you can get your official church ID card, membership certificates, ordainment certificates. We got some pretty epic gnome merch. I have been working on hand making many gnomes. All these gnomes you can get, making some of them weird, some of them more classic. Well, this one's not really classic. This one's from our Not a Cult t-shirt. That's why his eyes are really big and wild, so you can tell that he's not in a cult. Yeah, we are officially registered as a nonprofit organization. Eventually, I might set up an avenue for donations, but for now, we've been funding ourselves through mainly the ordination certificates. Prior to rolling out an avenue for people to submit donations, I really want to make sure that we have a lot of stuff in place to ensure transparency of those donations and that there's a good solid plan for how they're going to be utilized. I want to keep the Church of Gnome transparent and honest, and I want the money to go towards awesome, epic shit. So, joining the Church of Gnome is more than just signing up and grabbing cool merch. It's about being part of something bigger that isn't just a spiritual path. It's also a movement for positive change. We're building a community with big plans for local and global impact. Imagine Church of Gnome chapters hosting community cleanups, organizing clothes drives, planting community gardens, or even spreading random acts of kindness to brighten someone's day. We're planting the seeds for a global community, one that's rooted in kindness, curiosity, and action, whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering your time, or simply being more intentional in your daily life. Together, we can create real change. And yes, sometimes those seeds will grow into actual gardens full of gnomes. And so, next, we'll talk about the main thing that keeps bringing people to us: ordinations. Because this is probably one of my favorite parts. Yes, you can become an ordained minister of the Church of Gnome, and that is also free. And why would you want to get ordained? There are many, many reasons. Maybe you've always wanted to officiate a wedding while wearing a gnome hat, or you don't have to wear the gnome hat. Maybe you believe in this community and want to show your commitment to something bigger, or maybe you're here for the bragging rights, because not many people can say that I'm an ordained minister, and so is my cat. Sometimes absurdity is reason enough, and we're cool with that. So imagine officiating your best friend's wedding and delivering a heartfelt, slightly mischievous ceremony. Do you take your partner to be your lawfully wedded gnome companion, to garden with them, to laugh with them, and whatever the hell you end out saying? I don't know. Doing weddings is fun. This summer I did a pretty epic wedding, and they did want me to wear a gnome hat. We've ordained people from around the world. Tons of people. We're in 26 countries now. People across the US have been doing Gnomean weddings. It's epic. So there's been, I don't even know how many Gnomean weddings have happened in this last year. I wish I knew, but it's a lot. And so one thing to keep in mind, though, with our ordinations is, yes, our ordinations are valid 100% within the Church of Gnome. You got to look into your country's laws. Right now, we've had nothing but success in the United States. But even within the United States, you have to look into your local jurisdiction's rules. Some do require you to show documentation that you're ordained, and we do provide that, so don't worry. But also, at least in the US, if you want to do weddings, most areas you have to be 18 or older. So if you're under 18, you can still get ordained, but you might have to wait a little bit before you can actually do a wedding. But we have ordained ministers across the world. And so how much luck you'll have ordaining a wedding in various countries, some of that is to be determined, but I am here to help you pull that off however I can. There are many countries that I don't think it will be an issue, but just look into it before diving in. And now also, which we just announced a few weeks ago, our pet ordainment. Because after all, why should humans have all the fun? So that's right, your dog, your bird, your hamster, they can become an official minister of the Church of Gnome. You can introduce your dog as Reverend Rover, or your cat as Minister Meowington. The possibilities are endless. But that's not just for laughs, it's also because our pets are sacred companions. We have the doctrine of sacred companions, going over the important role that our pets do have in our lives. So this pet ordination isn't necessarily just for the laughs, though it totally can be. We believe in a strong commitment to our pets and honoring the role that they play in our lives. So if you are wondering, though, can your pet legally perform a wedding? That just depends on where you live. I have seen cases where pets were legally participating in weddings, but you got to check your local laws on that, because I don't know how many places would actually let your dog ordain a wedding. But when you ordain your pet through us, you also are ordaining yourself so that you can legally be assisting them, because nothing says bonded for life like co-officiating a wedding with a goldfish. So ultimately, becoming a Gnomean minister in the Church of Gnome is about finding a spiritual home that feels right for you, whether you're here for the community, the absurdity, or because you believe in the power of small acts of kindness and real world change. You belong here. We're building something bigger than just an online community. We're creating a movement of people who care, who act, and who make the world a little brighter, one gnome at a time. So whether you're here to officiate weddings, organize cleanups, or just share a laugh and some good vibes, we're glad you're here. This is your garden too, so let's grow together. So hopefully by now you have a pretty good idea of what the Church of Gnome is about. And so I want to go a little bit into what you can gain for yourself, not just in terms of titles or funny gnome-themed merch, but ways that can genuinely impact your life. At its core, the Church of Gnome is about connection to yourself, to others, to nature, and the vast mystery that surrounds all of us. In a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming, chaotic, and disconnected, we are here to remind you to slow down, breathe, and find joy in the small things, like gnomes. Whether it's appreciating a quiet morning, finding peace in your garden, or discovering meaning in unexpected places, the church encourages you to live with intention. Every little act matters. Every small kindness creates ripples. Every time you choose to be present, to smile at a stranger, to offer help to someone in need, or simply take a moment to appreciate what's around you, you're living the Gnomean way. One of the most powerful aspects of the church is our focus on personal growth. The 12 Gnomean Principles aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical tools that can help you live with greater clarity, purpose, and balance. And here's what joining the church could inspire you to do. You could explore your path with more curiosity and openness, cultivate gratitude for even the little things, reconnect with nature, whether that's through planting an actual garden or simply spending more time outdoors, practicing forgiveness and compassion, both for others and yourself. This isn't about perfection, it's about living more fully, embracing the highs and the lows, and finding the beauty in life's quirks and contradictions. And you don't have to do it alone. When you join the Church of Gnome, you're joining a community of like-minded or differently minded explorers, people who are here to support each other on this wild journey of life. We're not here to tell you how to live, we're here to walk beside you, to listen, to laugh, and to occasionally share ridiculous gnome memes. Our goal is to create a space where you feel seen, heard, and celebrated for exactly who you are. In the future, I would love for there to be local chapters forming, places where members can come together for community projects, spiritual reflection, or a gnome-themed celebration. Imagine a gathering of gnomians wearing those gnome hats, cleaning up a park, planting a garden, or just sitting around sharing stories. And even if you never met another member in person, you'll always have this community behind you, cheering you on and reminding you that you are part of something bigger and that you are awesome for still being here and fighting through whatever battles and hardships you're experiencing. The church isn't just about personal growth and spiritual reflection, it's about real-world impact. We believe that small acts of kindness can create big changes. We want to inspire and empower our members to take action in their communities, whether that's helping a neighbor, organizing a local cleanup, or just spreading a little joy in unexpected ways. The Church of Gnome is a living, evolving thing, and it's not meant to stay static. We want to grow, to branch out, to become a force of good in the world. We're already dreaming up a future of all sorts of projects, charity drives, community outreach programs, environmental initiatives that can make a real difference, and you get to help shape it. This isn't just my church. This is our church. It's the world's church. Your ideas, your energy, and your passion will help guide wherever we go next. So why join the Church of Gnome, because it's more than just a spiritual community. It's a movement that's about celebrating life, embracing the unknown, and creating something meaningful together. Whether you're here to grow personally, connect with others, or to make a difference in the world, there's a place for you here, and you'll be amazed at how much you can gain when you open yourself up to new experiences and new connections. So there you have it. Everything you need to know, kind of, for the Church of Gnome, at least for today. Whether you came here wondering if it was real, if you could actually get ordained, or if you just wanted to hear someone say gnome in a podcast an unhealthy amount of times, you're walking away with some answers, I hope, and maybe even some inspiration. The truth is, spirituality doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be rigid, and it definitely does not have to be boring. The Church of Gnome exists because life itself is both deeply meaningful and utterly ridiculous. So why not embrace it all? Why not seek wisdom while wearing a funny hat? Why not officiate a wedding with your dog as your co-minister? And why not build a community where people from all walks of life can come together to grow, connect, and maybe hide a few gnomes in their neighbor's yard for fun? So if today's episode has sparked your curiosity, I invite you to take the next step. Go to churchofgnome.org. Whether you want to get ordained, get a membership card, check out some gnome-inspired wisdom, there's a place for you here. So whether you want to officiate weddings, spread joy, or simply find a spiritual home that lets you be exactly who you are, I'm glad you're here. And don't forget to honor my dog Phantom, all of our grandpa, because it's not every day you meet a dog who's the second in command at a church. And I also want you to remind your own pets regularly of how amazing they are, and that is a sacred Gnomean obligation. Until next time, Gnome blessings to you all.